In Lookism, Korea is no longer what it used to be. In the Lookism universe, the country is split not by politics, but by power, loyalty, and survival. What started as a turf wars between school crews has escalated into a full-blown national conflict, and at the center of it all stands Gitae Kim, rising fast, spreading his influence across districts like a virus. But he's not unchallenged. A growing resistance fueled by loyalty, grit, and the will to protect has begun pushing back from the heart of Seoul to the edges of Gangwon and down to Busan. Old faces are returning, alliances are forming, and the lines are being drawn. So, in Lookism, where does Korea stand in June of 2025? Who rules, who resists, and who's still deciding? Let me break it down. Starting off with Seoul, Seoul is the beating heart of Korea, and in Lookism, it's the main battleground. Gitae Kim currently has his fingers deep in several major regions. Socho, large and influential, but this district has been swallowed up by Gitae. Control over Socho gives him access to muscle and influence, and Gangdong, the business powerhouse of Seoul. Having this district under his belt allows Gitae to financially reinforce his power. But Seoul isn't all Gitae's. Pockets of strong resistances remain, like Gangbuk. Once led by Johan Seong under the God Dog crew, Gangbuk was known for its unity and strength. Johan had conquered rival groups including K-House and kept order with an iron will. But after his departure, the region crumbled away into disarray without a stable leader. Gangbuk has been plagued with infighting and power struggles, though aligned with resistance and spirit. It desperately needed new leadership, where Kim Soo-hyun came in. Formerly dominated by Cho Yoon, Gangbuk has now been taken over by Kim Soo-hyun. It's unknown what his part is yet in the war, but one thing is for sure, he'll surely stand with the alliance. Moving on to Gangseo, Big Deal's territory, Jae Kim leads the Big Deal crew out of Gangseo. Holding a firm grip over the area, it's a major powerhouse right now. Big Deal has since evolved into one of the Resistance's strongest arms, and Jake is known for his compassion and unwavering morals. He's not just fighting Gitae, he's fighting to give his people something to believe in. Gangseo stands unshaken, definitely one of the most secure resistance zones, adding on Jake's alliance with Busan. Now moving on to Gangdong, Eli Jang's home turf. The east side of Seoul, Gangdong is where Eli Jang made his mark throughout the Hostel crew. Initially a refuge for runaways, the Hostel split in two. Hostel A run by the unhinged Ollie Wang and Hostel B helmed by Eli. While Ollie caused chaos, Eli matured. His fight is personal and fueled by his love for his daughter Yena. Despite facing enormous trials, Eli remains a crucial figure in the resistance, symbolizing the grit to protect those who you love. One of the most prominent members of the resistance, Eli Jang is a powerhouse they cannot forget. And now lastly, Gangnam, Eugene's chessboard. Gangnam is corporate, strategic, and powerful, fittingly under Eugene of the workers. Unlike traditional crews, the workers are like a crime syndicate. Disguised as a business enterprise, Eugene's loyalty is murky. He's practical and idealistic, and doesn't seem like the type to kneel to Gitae. While he often opposes common enemies to Gitae like Daniel and everyone else from J-High, for now, his motivations remain unclear and he remains a wildcard. If he shifts sides, the resistance could either gain a massive edge or suffer a major loss when he joins Gitae. Moving on to the Gyeonggi province, this is the gray zone. The region surrounding Seoul is full of undecideds. Cities like Pyeongtaek, Ansan, Suwon, and Songnam are aligned with the resistance, but they're just fragments of the whole. The rest of Gyeonggi is cautiously weighing options. Most leaders are torn between keeping independence or bending to the tide. Gitae looms large, but conviction or opportunity will decide where they land. Moving on to Gangwon, in my opinion, it's a powdered keg ready to explode. Out in the mountains, the Gangwon province is technically part of the enemy's web. The city of Samcheok is under Gitae's control, although reluctantly, as we've seen in the past chapters. The leadership there doesn't seem loyal, just cornered. There's a decent chance that this region flips if Gitae slips or the resistance shows strength. Either way, we stay curious. Now moving on to the powerhouses of the resistance. These three are clearly riding with the resistance, with Busan at the helm, where Jinrong is personally training Jae Kim. Although with a loss of strength, their experience can for sure come in handy. Moving on to Daegu, where Gangseopji resides. He may be alone and out of his prime, but he has incredibly powerful and talented students under him like Zach Lee, and who knows, maybe even Gongji and Cho Ma join the fight. But we're still staying curious. Chungcheong, quiet but steady. Jihan Kwak and Jibyom are for sure setting preparations to make sure a tragedy like that in Cheongcheong never happens again. Now moving on to the wildcard Incheon. Incheon is graphically and economically important, but it's sitting on the fence, with the soon arrival of Gitae Kim adds some serious tension. Before Gu should arrive though, Incheon needs to make a choice whether it joins the resistance or the enemies. Before Gitae Kim comes up to tear the city looking for the Hwarang sword, as of right now, no one knows what's going on. All eyes are on Incheon. Seoul is fractured but full of hope. The resistance has strong players like Jake, Eli, and possibly Eugene, and Gyeonggi is just waiting to be pushed. Gangwon is cracking, and the south stands firm. Incheon's a loaded gun, and Gitae, he's watching it all, waiting for a reason to move. This isn't just about turf, it's about ideas, leadership, and survival. Stay tuned because Lookism's Korea is about to explode. Join the Discord, and so yeah.